Welcome to another PLA podcast episode. It's so lovely to have you all on here. Elango, welcome. It's so lovely to have you and truly looking forward to this episode and getting to interview you today.
It's a pleasure to be part of the podcast, Dinia. I'm glad.
It's an absolute treat to finally connect with a fellow Canadian on the podcast.
Likewise.
Absolutely. I would love to formally introduce you to our audience just so they can get a better look at who you are and an understanding of the incredible guests that we have on today. So I'd love to just run them through. Meet Elangovan Sivalingam. 20 plus years of experience in software and reliability engineering, expert in fault tolerant systems, predictive analytics, and self healing mechanisms with leadership roles at TD Bank, Citi, CGI, and Hewlett Packard, driving high performance teams and scalable mission critical solutions. Known for blending technical depth and strong leadership to keep systems resilient and reliable. Beyond tech, a dedicated family man, proud father of two, who enjoys traveling, hiking, and exploring new places, bringing the same resilience and curiosity to life as he does to engineering. Welcome, Ilan. It's so lovely to have you on here as always.
Wow. Thanks. I'm really super excited to be, to be in the podcast with you, Dinia. And yeah, it's a pleasure, to be part of PLA and also to be interviewed by you.
Oh, it's such a treat. And I would love to take you back to the very, very beginning of your career because so many people know you today or getting to know you through this podcast. And they'd love to know where it really all of it started, the very beginning of the story. So could you take us back to the very beginning of your career and how it all began?
Well, I got to go 2 decades back. um, Interestingly, the world has dramatically changed in this last 2 decades, I would say. Well, when I was a college kid, absolutely there was a little information out there for us to know what we want to do and how we are going to position ourselves in the industry. But then, like every other person, I'm curious enough to know how my future is going to be shaped when I was out of college. And it all started that, with a campus interview we had in a college for a call center. Yeah, so we have been interviewed for this position of customer care representatives. We absolutely have very little information on how the IT world is, or the BPO sectors, or the call centers, how they operate. But then we were all super excited to be part of that campus interview, and I was one of them who got selected. But I absolutely did not know what it was. But that's where it all started. My foot into the IT world, into the industry where I am today. But from there, I got an opportunity to move into a bigger city from my hometown, which is Bangalore. And then like my career started with Hewlett Packard post which, like, however, I did not go to a call center, even though like I got an welcome opportunity to join a call center, and which was the reason for me to move to Bangalore. But then I eventually got into the tech industry through an opportunity with Hewlett Packard as an IT specialist. Where I had an opportunity to work with some of the most interesting minds. Like Hewlett Packard was really emerging at that time. It was one of the top three firms, and that's when they have recently acquired Digital and Mercury. And
Mhm.
Mercury had all the sophisticated products in the software QA industry. So I got opportunity to work with one of the most interesting product development team, which is the HP Load Runners team. And till date, I've been using that product. So that's where, I mean, my foundational knowledge was built with Hewlett Packard, where I had got the opportunity to go in depth and understand the software development lifecycle, and at the same time to have a diverse experience working in a different ecosystem within HP. Yeah, so that's how it all started. That's how the interest of me working in performance engineering and reliability engineering built from that base.
Incredible. Incredible. And after all this experience, I'd love to know if you were to go back in time and give yourself one piece of advice at the very beginning of your career, what do you wish you knew at that moment where it all started with everything that you know now and you've experienced?
Yeah, right. I wish I had PLA back then. I wish I had access to the mentors, to be very honest.
Wow.
Right? It puts you in a spring pad and it gets you the cream of information and experience, which you otherwise have to live through and learn from your own mistakes, right? Um, that was one thing I definitely would wish that anybody would have access to early in their career for a mentor to shape their career. The growth would have been accelerated. And one more thing which I wanted to probably share at this moment is that maybe I have learned it from my experience that, most of the time we wait for the perfect person to be built before we take that big step or before we make the change or whatever, right? That's something which I wouldn't do today. I
Mm.
was thinking back then, 20 years back, probably I would have thought that, the people who are successful in the industry may have answers to everything. They probably know more things and they are more confident because looking at their confident nature and the positions, I assume a lot of things. And then probably I put myself back. There is a setback that, okay, I'm not ready yet. The imposter syndrome and all that. I wouldn't do that now because I understand that, as you take action and you eventually progress and it helps you to achieve your goals sooner or later, right? And there is no one in the world who has answer to all the questions.
Mm.
So, yeah,
So good.
those are my 2 cents.
Yeah, so there's so much value in your share. I think that piece around like hiring the right mentors and that proximity being so key and just so essential and important, really. And then the other piece of it is so many times we get caught up in the illusion that we have to wait to become the perfect person to be able to take those steps. And so many
Absolutely.
times, this paralyzes us in our careers in certain moments instead of really focusing on just taking the step regardless.
That's true, Dunya. That's very well put.
It's that, so many people out there are in let's take this a little bit further. I'm so curious to know, so many of us have gone through those moments where we doubt ourselves and we're waiting for that perfect moment. I'd love to know, what would you tell someone who is hesitating to take the next step, waiting for that perfect opportunity, that perfect person, or to become someone that is ready to take that step? What would you tell them?
I was there, right? But now, if I have to tell others who are going through this kind of situations, um, procrastination is one thing, you
Mm,
know, uh, which probably hinders the progress. Uh, kill procrastination. You'd always probably think that, okay, there is a better time to do things, or we are not ready yet, physically, mentally. But there is no time that which comes first, which helps you to prepare, and then you can face that challenge or do that task, right? So kill procrastination.
mm,
The second thing is, before we start, there may be a lot of ambiguity, questions in your mind,
mm,
how to do this. Probably for someone who wants to get into AI, let's take this as an example. Then, yeah, there are so many things in AI. A lot of people talk about AI. Every day there is evolution. Every day there are new things. It could probably look big. I mean, where I'm going to fit in this big AI world. Where to start, how to start. A lot of question. But then, like, if you do not make that step of getting into it and start somewhere, you don't have to do the right thing. Take action. You could probably reading the last chapter of the book, it's still fine. But then the
mm.
moment when you get into that, you get clarity.
Mm.
So action gives you clarity, right? So that's another thing which I would probably recommend. And you will figure it out. Many things in our life, we have done even most complex things, as a parent, as a family member, you have done a lot of different things, you would have helped your family come out of a situation, but you have never thought like this. You will figure it out. Similarly, that's my 2 cents, which I would recommend. Kill procrastination and take action.
Mm.
That would help you to progress.
So good. I think you bring such an important point of that piece of killing procrastination by taking action. And I what I loved about what you shared is this piece around taking imperfect action. Even if you're reading that last chapter of a book, read it. It is more important than leaving that book on the side on your nightstand indefinitely and never opening it up. And I think that if people gave themselves permission to take imperfect action, no matter what that would be, things would be moving forward way faster and more efficiently and effectively versus this moment that people are waiting, oh, I have to do it perfectly to even do it.
Exactly, exactly. I would like to share one real life example from my college time. You know,
Absolutely.
this was one of my friend. We had two computers uh, in our room. I belonged to two different people, but that time, you could imagine 20 years back, the hardware limits were so low. We were still working on 32-bit operating system with 4 gigabytes of memory. But this guy was curious to learn Sun Solaris.
Mm.
And then somewhere he got the software where it was in two different CDs. And then he was debating with one of my friend to have that installed in the computer, but the owner of the computer, right, my another friend, he was telling that it did not have enough memory to install Sun Solaris's operating system. But the guy was so determined, he did not give up. He said, what, allow me to install one CD in the computer, first computer, and the second CD in a different computer, right? In the second computer. He didn't know that, at that time that it has to both to be on the same computer for the software to work. But then from there, it may look funny today, like when I share this example with anybody, but then from there, he got a job in Oracle as a Sun Solaris administrator a few years back. So that curiosity driven him, and consistently taking action and never giving up, even though, we all start from zero and we eventually build our knowledge. But if you are determined to do so, and if you keep up your focus, I'm sure you're going to get where you want to get. So that's one of the example I always tell to myself. When I want to get into doing some uncomfortable things or things which I'm not good at or where I wanted to explore. So I always relate to this example to myself to take actions and be consistent. Yeah.
I love it. It so makes me think of, so many times we do these like silly
Yeah.
mistakes at the beginning of our careers. And later on, they actually have a much greater meaning or symbol to what ends up playing out in our careers. And it's just reminding us like those that take imperfect action are the ones that play very, very big and end up very successful. It's like, a lot of these sports and athletes, they've taken more shots on net than the average person will ever take in their lifetime and they've missed more times than the average person. But if you look statistically, they're more likely to actually score, they're more actually to get a win because they're more likely to actually take a chance over and over again.
That's true.
Incredible. Well, I'm curious. The next question that I have for you really is, so many of us have resilience really comes from going through some challenging times in our careers and the difficulty really. I would be curious to know what were the greatest challenges and difficulties of your own career and then later how did you grow from them? I'd be curious.
Uh, well, in this 20 years, at least I have encountered few to share with. Life is full of challenges, same as our IT career, because this field continuously evolves. The technology keeps changing. For you to associate yourself with the industry, with the growing industry, which is very dynamic. Even though I have started myself as a programmer or probably an IT analyst, then eventually stepped into the shoes of a programmer and over a period of time, and then I got an opportunity to get into software quality assurance, and from there, performance engineering, cybersecurity, blockchain. So there is a lot of transformation. So uh, eventually, uh, you know, it is. Um, it may be uncomfortable, like yeah, to face a challenge, to face a change.
Mm,
But
yeah.
change is one thing which is constant, which always brings a lot of value and growth within yourself. Right. And if I, on a hindsight, I could say that every decision which I have taken on my life, while it is a change of a career or it is a big decision in life, in terms of immigration. So we have all immigrated from, most of us have from a different country, with a family and all, which is not an easy change. But then, like, we make these decisions looking at the future, or looking at our goals, or where do we want to position ourselves in the next 5, 10 years. So when you are facing up challenge, the important thing which I had followed is that looking at the bigger goal,
Mm,
right? Associating myself, not giving up because of the challenges, but see what's the future is going to be. How does the end of the light in the end of the tunnel will look like, right? Thinking about those bigger pictures, I keep myself motivated, and I push myself to drive those changes and face the challenges.
incredible. Yeah, there, you know what book it makes me think of? When you're sharing this, there's a book that comes to mind, and it's called Man's Search for Meaning, by Viktor Frankl. And he ends up sharing how the human being, the human body, like what we can go through as people is unbelievable when we have a vision driving us forward. That vision will give us strength, will give us grit, resilience, creativity, and courage beyond understanding. And so it
Right.
really makes me think of your share, like this piece around, having that vision, because challenges are normal, right? They are part of that process. Like you said, you're in an industry that most industry will go through, but your industry, particularly in IT, will go through more changes than most industries will understand in a lifetime. And so, to having that vision, that greater goal, to allow ourselves to face these changes and the resilience necessary to keep transforming through that process
Yeah,
is essential to success.
absolutely. Yeah, I also made a note of the book. Really love the title, Man's Search for Meaning. But that's true. What drives us is the vision you have, the goals which you want to achieve. Yeah. So that's very well said.
Incredible. What I love also is not
Yeah.
only professionally have you gone through these transformations and changes, you've mentioned also personally moving a family through from country to country is no easy feat. There's a cultural change, there's a change of environment, there's a change of in the network and the support system and who we have access to in our reference points. And those transformations build within us this resilience that serves us in every facet of our life, truly.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's true. And as a leader of the family, you have to keep up that grit, and you are the confidence for the family. So you have to live through it, lead by example. A lot of leadership qualities come within it.
So true.
Yeah,
Parenting being the fast track to leadership training.
absolutely, absolutely. That's where it is all built. I would say that a leader is built from the family. You know, yeah.
Absolutely. It's so
Situation brings out the leadership qualities, naturally within a person.
yeah, totally. And yeah, absolutely. I think there's so much there. There's so many parallels and good insights around leadership within a family organization and leadership within a corporate organization. And one serves the other and the other serves the one.
Yeah, true.
I would be so curious. We talked about change, and obviously the big buzzword of the hour of this massive change that we're seeing is obviously AI. And I need to get your perspective. Like, how do you see it? How are you using it? And what's your perspective on what's happening with AI and where it's taking us?
Um, See, I would say that, in the last 20 years, like we talked about, there was a lot of transformation, evolution, technology booms, difference in technologies, right? Um, from the example of migrating from 32-bit operating to 64-bit operating system, which unlocked a lot of hardware power and the processing power. So from there, like, virtualization, cloud concepts, mobile, digital era, e-commerce evaluation, uh, and I'm so honored and I'm so fortunate to be in this era to witness so many changes. And yet again, there is one mind-blowing innovation, artificial intelligence, right? So I'm super excited to be living in the era where this happens. Like every innovation, when you take something new to people, always people have that fear when you bring that unknown things to them. There are always misconception of things around that. But then let me start with the strength of this innovation. Let me try to see why what I see it as a positive side of it. Definitely. um, it accelerates the innovation. So the artificial intelligence in today's world. Let's take the example of COVID, right? When the whole world is scrambling around, looking for a drug to be found, uh, but then with the support of AI, which evaluated so many protein structures, which helped us to identify the drug which is required for us to cure this disease. This has accelerated the innovation of the drug, right? Without which, we probably would have lost even more lives. The delay in the progress of identifying that. Likewise, we could bring a lot of examples where AI has been, helping human, in accelerating innovation. And the second thing is, like, I don't see AI as an augmentation. I mean, as a replacement. It's more of an augmentation,
Mm.
right? Many industries, like take radiology for that matter. I mean, I'm again going back to another healthcare example where it helps us to analyze a lot of images, helps to identify the problems, where the doctor could do other things, dealing with the patients and then thinking about resolving the problems, right? We don't probably need to spend more time on diagnosing the issue. Similarly, to the work which I am where I am performing in the industry, in the software and reliability engineering industry. I remember, like, while I was with Citi, we built a predictive analytical model using Splunk machine learning algorithms, where it captures the data patterns, captures spike patterns in the memories, abnormal disk growths, and then it draws a predictive graph identifying or forecasting the failures ahead of time, which kinds of really helps the support teams or operation teams to identify or prepare themselves to face a failure and then prevent it, overcoming it with that prediction. So there is a lot of pros to AI, I would say. And then the third thing, probably I want to add here, is which makes a dramatical change, is that the decentralization of knowledge, the democratization of knowledge, right? Today it is available to everyone. Like when I look back like 20 years, when I wanted to do performance engineering, I had very little information which was available on the internet. But then even now, we would say that probably let's not go that long. Even just like few years back, even after the social media growth. So it is up to a person to go find information, scrap different sources across the internet. But then with the evolution of AI and agents, right, things become very interesting. So all the monotonous tasks are automated just in a matter of second, right? And you do no longer we need to have that implementation strength or knowledge or execution power which we needed in the past. Now anybody could do any automation for that matter.
Oh, yeah.
And what I'm saying is that this will probably enable anybody with an idea to implement it without need of much knowledge of implementation or the support of engineers who would have to bring that knowledge of execution, right? So maybe I would say that there will be more innovations, more entrepreneurships, which through AI. uh, yeah, so there could be some challenges, till we reach the maturity phase. There could be misconceptions, there could be misinformations, like people believe people believe information in social media is right. The fact checks are really challenging. Deep fakes are there still. So I'm sure we will get over those things over a period of time. And the using responsible AI governance and guidelines is also another, stream where the enterprises and organizations heavily enforce whenever there is a use of AI. Yeah, so I'm really super excited to witness this, and yeah, and I'm so excited to be part of it. Uh, so looking forward to leverage this technology and grow with it.
Absolutely. I think you brought up a point that very few have brought up. And it's this piece of it, evens out the playing field. So many people are now going to get to compete with or perform at a level of someone that was far more advanced in terms of access to resources, access to time, access to expertise. And finally, there are going to be opportunities that are going to open themselves up to the average person or to someone who may not have the resources or time to be able to create incredible things, whether it's products, services, or
Yeah,
bringing their work forward.
that's true. Yeah, I'm really super excited. Yeah, I mean, just imagine the small businesses, things, resources which had access to, I mean, the tools for which were used by the large industries, enterprise organization is now available for a small e-commerce business which is run with only two people. Like I was just messaging a car dealership on the other day, and then I see that a continuous follow-up has been made by AI agents, and it is working 24 bar 7. It doesn't matter for me, the information which I need is taken care of, and I'm also feeling good because that I don't have to wait for somebody to come in and respond to me on the working hours, right? So things are getting accelerated everywhere. If we see that, I probably think that we have to understand this evolution, and it helps us to enable do things beyond what we have imagined in the past.
Incredible. Yeah, there's something there. It's definitely going to open up opportunities. And you're right, actually. I love this, even this example of you work like reaching out to the car dealership as a client. Our experience will also increase in value and be far more enjoyable because the access to experts, information, customer service will grow. It's so much better.
It is.
It's a win-win really all around. And what I like though is at the very beginning of your share when I asked you about AI, you said you mentioned it being like a question of perspective. I choose to see it as. So I think that some people are obviously intimidated by this change that's happening in the world, but this is a choice. Like the perspective, like we will all find what we're looking for. If we see it as the greatest thing that's happened to our industry, it is going to play out as the greatest thing that's happened to our industry. If we choose to see it as a threat and we're worried, then all of a sudden, all we're going to find and we're going to experience is it as a threat.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Lango, I'm curious also, I love asking this question just because I think it's such a fun way to get to know everyone on this podcast. What are you excited about for the future in terms of legacy and impact? What drives you? What are you passionate about? And what are you truly looking forward to?
Well, it's a great question and a very powerful question, Dunya. So I believe actually in giving back to the society or the community. And that's what I wanted to leave it as part of my legacy. The more knowledge, the more insights which I have learned over my period of time, like how our mentors give their knowledge selflessly, making an impact in other people's life.
Absolutely.
Many leaders have done so. I mean, probably I would follow the same footpath, and anything which I learn in my lifetime, I wish to pass it back to the people and community. Yeah,
It's
and
good.
leave a lasting impact. That's all I'm wishing for.
Oh, I think you truly are getting to know you so much through PLA. It's well on its way, and you're already there doing it. So it's such a treat to get to know you more and get to share you a little bit more with our PLA audience listening to the podcast. There's so much there. I I would be curious too, like what originally drove you to PLA, and what has been your experience with PLA as we're on the PLA podcast, and it is how we've gotten to connect over the last few months, definitely.
Absolutely, yeah. So, like I said in the beginning of the podcast, I wish I had access to the mentors early in my career, right? So, um, until last year, I wasn't so sure, or I probably would have challenged people who would have said that you could change your mindset
Mm.
in a short period of time, because I've been with PLA within probably I would say the last 1 year, right? And there is a lot of difference I could see within myself professionally and also personally. And the impact is not only within myself, and I could also see that this is influencing the people within my family as well in a positive way. Uh, well, all started by like when I last year I was actually looking for a mentor. like I came across this information through one of my friend that we could hire mentors. you know we always looked for mentor within our professional circle, through our company organization, or the people whom we have known, that we wish that we have a good boss, good leader, through which we can learn and our growth can be accelerated. But I never knew that I could separately hire a mentor, right? So this is probably the best decision I have taken in my life, investing on myself and joining PLA, which has greatly transformed me and also influenced my leadership skills, uh, my communication skills. Nevertheless, I shouldn't I should have mentioned that long back. So people may think this may not be the best form of communication for many, but I'm only comparing me with myself, right, from where I was and where I am today, right now. Yeah, so I'm really uh, super excited, and I am really happy and satisfied with my progress in the last few months through PLA. There's a lot of good things, life lessons, I would say, which I would carry it for the rest of my life, which I have learned in this last few months. And the dimension which every coach is bringing, right? Vamsi from the mindset and leadership angle, Venkat from the technical and leadership angle, and with Dunya, you from the chief heart officer, expanding ourselves to the fullest potential, and with Brendan, you
Yeah.
know, who's the probably the backbone of all this three, right? So I can't ask for more, and even the program has delivered beyond than what was committed, not just sticking to what was said, but then a lot of things, like meditation, breathing exercises, networking, the proximity power. I can keep adding to that list. The guest speakers which we have brought, who brought different perspectives towards the career and life. So there's a lot of interesting stuffs, and yeah, like I said, this is probably the best, one of the best decisions I have ever made.
Wow, incredible. Elango, I think that there's something that you brought up that I wanted to share and just point out, which I find fascinating. No one else has said that. And that's why I'm always like intrigued. I love these podcasts because every time I learn something so new. What I
Yeah,
love is that everything you shared about PLA had nothing to do with communication in the first shares. And it goes to show that in life, when we make an investment that's truly right for us, it brings us things that we never thought were actually part of the equation, that were
yeah.
part of the package. And what we originally signed up for also comes, but almost later on in the list versus all these other things that we get to. Part of it really, though, comes from someone with an open mind and an open heart and a commitment to learn to be able to receive all of these things. So this is really a testament to you too, Elango, and all the work you've put in, truly.
I appreciate Dunia, and not just only the coaches, right? The entire crew, directly, indirectly, there is a lot of impact everyone has been making around it, and the motivation, especially, we get a lot of motivation, from PLA as a whole. Yeah, there are many times, probably you have 1,000 reasons to lay back, procrastinate. But PLA clearly showed us what you could do, and nothing is stopping us. It's the mental blocks, it's the boundaries, whatever we are defining in our mind is what is stopping us. Those are not the real stoppers. So things, and all the credit goes to the Leadership Academy, every one of them, Mary, the whole team. So I really love about when there is a little bit of off track, Marie follows us with us, hey, is everything okay with you, is there anything we could do to help you out? So a lot of things, implicitly or indirectly, helps you to put you back in track, and helps you achieve the goal, brings in clarity with respect to your goal. First of all, that itself is a big process. If you ask somebody, hey, what is your goal for the next 12 months, 24 months, 5 years, 10 years, where do you want to see yourself? How many of us would be able to clearly answer that question, right? The clarity in what you want itself is a big challenge. So it all starts with the requirements. define the requirements right and define the execution path. But if the requirements goes wrong, or if you do not have a requirement, you do not even know where you're heading to, right? You just live the life the way how it goes. So thanks for everything. And I'm not, I'm searching for that one word which I'm not getting, but then, yeah, it's in my heart. I'm super grateful for PLA and all the time spent with PLA.
Incredibly, Lango. I'm going to put a for anyone who's watching this episode and has never come across PLA and have no idea what PLA is about and are fascinated and curious. I'm going to put a QR code on the screen just above in case you want to come to the next free training. So many who have gone to the free training, including myself and so many of us in the community and out of the community, to be honest, have gotten a ton of value, like an immense amount of value from just this free training. So if you're curious about what is PLA, what happens in PLA and what kind of value can I get from it? Feel free to click the and just scan the QR code actually and click through the URL and website. You'll get to know a little bit more about when the next free training is and a little bit more about the community. I wanted to thank you, Lango, for your time today, for your dedication to, this community and to your growth. And it's been an absolute pleasure and a privilege to interview you today on the PLA podcast.
It's a honor to be part of this podcast, and thanks, Dunya. I really appreciate all the time which you have spent, and yeah, the learning never stops. You all continue to inspire us, keep inspiring us, and have a wonderful day. Yeah,
Oh, and we'll connect with everyone shortly and see you all on the next
yeah.
episode of the PLA podcast. Thank you, Lango, for your time.
Thank you, thank you. Looking forward to meet you in Dallas.
Absolutely.
Yeah.